What's up guys, welcome back to Daniel Talks Football right here on YouTube. I'm Daniel and we are back with another video. In this video we're going to be discussing how Brendan Rodgers has been sacked by Leicester City. I myself am a Leicester fan, and in this video we're going to detail what's gone into the sacking, why he's been sacked and who should replace him at the football club. Before we do get into the video, please make sure to like the video, comment down below and also subscribe to the channel. We're in a new setting, obviously with the surprise news. I'm currently out, but I wanted to get a video out to you guys. So we're in a different setting today, but we're still here to sit down and speak about Brendan Rodgers. Now, this was a long time coming. I myself, as a Leicester fan, have been Rodgers out for 12, 18 months now. It was the first time I thought he should move on was after a away game at Napoli. I think we lost the game 3-2, I want to say. It meant that we got knocked out of the Europa League and we were dumped into Conference League football. For those Leicester fans that remember the game, Ryan Bertrand was at fault for two of the games. Was at fault for two of the goals, sorry. And I had enough. I went, this side isn't good enough. We're not attacking enough. In the final minutes we were passing it around the back and I didn't see the enthusiasm from the side I wanted. So I said it's time to go. And all these months later, today Leicester City announced a statement that said this: Leicester City Football Club has reached a mutual agreement with Brendan Rodgers that will see him leave the club after 4 years as our men's first team manager. Brendan departs King Power Stadium as one of the most successful managers in the club's history, having guided us to our long-awaited first FA Cup triumph in 2021, the FA Community Shield in the same year, two of the club's three highest Premier League finishes and consecutive European campaigns, including our first European semi-final in 2022. Assistant manager Chris Davies and first-team fitness coach Glenn Driscoll will also be leaving with the club's thanks and best wishes for their future careers. Immediate responsibility for men's first-team training and match preparation will be led by the club's long-serving first-team coaches Adam Sadler and Mike Stowell. Leicester City chairman Ayawat Sriwatanapapa said, "The achievements of the team under Brendan's management speak for themselves. We've experienced some of our finest footballing moments under his guidance and will always be grateful to him and his staff for the heights they helped us to reach on the pitch. Off the pitch, Brendan embraced the culture of the club and helped cultivate an outstanding developmental environment, particularly during the transition to Seagrave, which is the club's new training ground, and provided strong leadership during the unprecedented challenge of the coronavirus pandemic. His place in Leicester City history is assured. However, performances and results during the current season have been below our shared expectations. It had been our belief that continuity and stability would be key by correcting our course, particularly given our previous achievements under Brendan's management. Regrettably, the desired improvement has not been forthcoming and, with 10 games of the season remaining, the board is compelled to take alternative action to protect our Premier League status. The task ahead of us in our final 10 games is clear. We now need to come together, fans, players and staff, and show the poise, quality and fight to secure our position as a Premier League club." Wow. I'll first reflect on the statement, I think, before we don't go into anything else. I think that's a good statement from Top. Fans have been calling for Top to take action for a long time, and I've been one. I love Top. I think he's an excellent guy. As an owner, I haven't been convinced. He's acted too late in this, and I think every Leicester fan will agree. Top should have done this a lot earlier. The people at the higher-ups at the club, including people like Susan Whelan, these people are also at fault for this decision. It needed to happen a lot sooner than it has. However, in that statement, the one thing that sticks out to me as a fan is him saying that fans, players and management and staff need to come together. That's paraphrasing it, of course. That's interesting because fans haven't been together. There's been fighting in the stands. There was fighting in the stands away at Forest. I can imagine there was probably more fighting in the stands away yesterday. Fans have not been combined because a small pocket of fans have wanted this manager to remain, and it has been a small pocket of fans. 85-90% of fans have wanted Brendan Rodgers to leave the football club for a long time now. Ever since early on this season when it was, We shipped 11 goals in the games Brighton and Spurs. Ever since that happened, a lot of fans have gone, nah, he needs to go. And he now has. Top task for fans to come together, and I think fans will come together, especially to support Mike Stowell, who a lot of fans quite like as a person. I quite like Mike Stowell. I think he's a nice guy. Adam Sadler too. These are two guys that I sort of appreciate and look at and go, you know what? I don't mind them. Obviously, they're not going to be long-term coaches. You don't appoint two people long-term anyway, because that's stupid if you decide to do that. But they're here for at least the Aston Villa game on Tuesday. It would seem like a good time to reflect on sort of replacements now, but I don't want to. I want to reflect on people who aren't with Leicester who are saying, why have you sacked him? Why is he gone then? Because, he wasn't backed. Was he? He wasn't backed. It's fair to say in the summer we signed one player. The club tried to get a second in Jeremy Boga, and that ended up falling through. We signed one player with 15 million root farce to replace an outgoing 70 million Wesley Fofana. Now that's not as easy as it sounds, with the Wesley Fofana money coming in instalments, so we did not have all that money in the summer. I think we had 25-30 million of it in the summer. So we didn't have all that money. So we didn't have 70 million in the summer, and we were very tired with FFP. In January, we went out and spent a little bit more because we brought forward those loans of the Fofana money, which was supposed to be coming in March, and at the end of the season we brought them forward to January, and we went out and spent. We spent 15 million on Christensen. We spent 15-20 million on Harry Souttar, and we brought in Tete on a loan, which costed 2 to 3 million. And we still haven't looked good enough. We still have not looked good enough. So I think it's completely fair. Many of these players have regressed under Rodgers' management. Carlos Soyuncu was tipped for a 50-60 million pound move, and now he's going to be leaving on a free to a Champions League side who are one of the best in La Liga. So why is he not playing football? Even if I do think he has regressed, which I think he has, he's moving to a top level La Liga side. So surely he's better than the defenders we have at the moment. At least give him a chance to prove it. Wilfred Ndidi, another person who's regressed, he was supposed to be the big, replacement for Manchester United at their number 6 position. We were talking 60, 70, 80 million pounds. You wouldn't get 25 now. Jamie Vardy, that could be to do with age, yes. But he hasn't been nowhere near the striker we all know and love this season. And it would not surprise me if he moves on at the end of the season because he hasn't been good enough. The lack of want to keep Kasper Schmeichel at the club, when he said he was more than happy to negotiate a new contract ever since he's left. While he was at the club, there were reports of, him wanting to move on. That's now been squashed, and Rodgers didn't want him at the football club. Instead, he wanted Danny Ward as his first-team goalkeeper. This is lunacy to me. Even players like Yuri Tielemans, Harvey Barnes, Castagna, these are all excellent players and have been performing nowhere near what we expect of them. So I'm disappointed in Rodgers because he did a lot for this football club. 2 fifth-place finishes. Yes, we should have got more in those seasons. I don't think there's any Leicester fan that would deny we should have got more. We were in the top 4 for the majority of both those seasons, and to fall away and finish 5th was disappointing. But still, us, 2 of the 3 highest finishes in the Premier League at this football club. And the FA Cup win, and the Community Shield win, and the European semi-final, which we, again, should have done better in. We should have attacked Roma rather than sitting back letting them attack us in the second leg when we were already losing. There's been a lot of decisions under Rodgers that hasn't made sense, and I'm very happy to have him gone. I'm so happy to have him gone. I'm not gonna be horrible about this and say he hasn't done good things for the club. He has, but it's been time to move him on for a long time now, and it's clear that he saw the performance at Crystal Palace at the weekend and went, yep, time to get him gone. This was a Crystal Palace side that hadn't won in 2023, and they had 31 shots against us. Does that not show how poor of a side we are? It was time to get him gone, and at least he has gone. Who to come in and replace him? That's the big question. Now, you're looking at 2 things when you say this. You're looking at who to get in possibly until the end of the season if you do want to go for an interim, and then you're looking at who to get on beyond that, or are you looking for a straight-up appointment now? I wouldn't be against an interim, because I think if we wait until the summer, could somebody like Graham Potter be available? Could we even go out and try and get a Thomas Frank? Will Still, would he want to take the job? Lucien Favre, I feel like we could possibly get in now, but even still, you'd be more inclined to come in the summer when the club are promising a rebuild, because we do need to rebuild the squad with 7 or 8 players out of contract this summer and a whole host more out of contract next summer. So the club are promising a rebuild. So now's the time to move Rodgers on. Again, it's about who you replace. Personally, and I've seen the odds, I've seen that Rafa Benitez is the favourite. I'm not convinced about that. When Rodgers was first appointed to the club, about 4 years ago now, I said, yeah, I said I wanted Rafa at that time. I said I wanted Rafa over Rodgers. Obviously, Rafa's career path since then has not been ideal, and I'm not quite sure if I'd still want Rafa at the football club. Who do I want to come in to replace Rodgers? If it's an interim thing, you could give it Mike Stowell until the end of the season. Obviously, I think that's a fine decision if you want to do that. But then you're in the territory of if he keeps us up and if he does well with us, do you then have to offer it him permanently? And then what do you do with Adam Sadler? And we don't want that. I'm all for a manager until the end of the season. I've said before, semi-jokingly, Wes Morgan. Give it Wes Morgan until the end of the season. I'm not quite sure if he's got the coaching experience we would need. However, if I would be more than happy to bring him in someone as the backroom staff, because I feel like he would give some passion, and also he's a former captain. Before he moved on, 2 years ago, he was our captain. So definitely bring him back in some capacity. Until the end of the season, I would look at 2 names. And they're 2 managers we've had in before, because I think we do need something like that. I'm not against Claudio Ranieri coming back until the end of the season. I think we've got 10 games left now. Claudio could have 4 games, at least of that, where all the fans absolutely adore him. That's not the worst thing in the world. Obviously, you don't give it to Claudio permanently. I think that would be a woeful decision if you decided to do that. But if you just gave it Claudio until the end of the season, you could bring in somebody big in the summer, and Claudio would keep this side up. He would ride the momentum. He would come in, say some quirks to the press. The fans would go, "Oh my God, I love you, Claudio," and we would probably pick it back up. If not Claudio, and this will be a little bit of a harder one, I'm not against Nigel Pearson. The issue is he is obviously currently in management with Bristol, and it would surprise me if they would let him go on a 10-game loan like Malmo did for Solskjaer when he went to United for that sort of weird managerial loan. I wouldn't be against Pearson coming in until the end of the season. I think he would sort out this squad, but I don't think it will happen. And then we look at who the next permanent manager is going to be. My first option, as always, is Graham Potter. I would love Potter in at this football club, and I think he would be an excellent choice. Thomas Frank, I think, again, would be a really, really good option, as do I think Will Still would. I think they're probably my top 3. Lucien Favre would be somebody I'd be interested in, and then there's a couple of outside shouts. You could look to the Championship. Do I think either of these managers would move on? No. But I think that Company and Carrick would be 2 really, really interesting options if we did decide to go down that kind of path. But what do you make to Rodgers sacking? I myself absolutely over the moon. I'm going to go and celebrate because I'm over the moon that the man has gone. But what do you make to the sackings? Let me know in the comments below. Who should Leicester replace Rodgers with as well? Let me know below, and I'll catch you all again in the next video. See ya!